City Commission Planning and Information Session is now called to order. At this time, we'll look to our city's manager to call for our invocation and our pledge of allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, the invocation and pledge of allegiance will be led by Commissioner Roberts, District 1.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for getting House of Evans on the process.
At this time, we'll look to our risen Savior. Our Father and our strong God, before we start asking and petitioning for anything, we pause to thank you for what you've already done. And God, as we come today to impart on this information, that we may get revelation so we can attain celebration here at the city of Waycross. We thank you for the officials. We thank you for the entire leadership fellowship of the city of Waycross. And Lord, you said in your word in Psalms 133, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. And God, we understand sometimes it's okay to disagree, but we don't have to fall out. But could join us together, God. Let us touch and agree, God, because when we unite, God, we can become a better city and we can be more effective for the citizen of Waycross. And God, as we deal with politics today, with political affairs, you understand it more than we do, Jesus, because you was born a political birth, and yet you lived a political life, and you died a political death. So help us to understand that things go forward is a spiritual atmosphere. It's in the matchless name of our Lord and Savior we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'd like to thank our city's manager for call for our Commissioner Roberts, who called for Bishop Evans to lead our invocation and send our pledge of allegiance. At this time, we ask if you have any guests.
No, Mr. Mayor, we do not.
Without any guests, we do not need to read the forum, but we will turn the remainder of our docket over to our city's manager, Mr. Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, we have no traveling or training scheduled for the month. We're going to go ahead and move into the information session with one request of removal, Mr. Mayor. We will not be discussing item 6, right-of-way dedication, due to needing updated information, which we'll provide at the next scheduled meeting. All right. At that time, Mr. Mayor, we'll move into the discussion items, starting with bids by the procurement officer, Ms. Jackson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Purchasing has a couple of items before you this evening. The first one is for surplus property. There are several items of equipment, heavy equipment, that the Public Works Department has that is well over 20 years and past its usefulness. Most of these items have since been replaced, and we are asking that these items be declared surplus so that we can sell them on govdeals.com.
Commission, you've heard the request of our procurement officer, Ms. Jackson. If you will, you need to give consent for surplus in this property. So I'll start with District 1. Consent, District 2,
Yes, sir.
District 2, District 3,
Yes, sir.
District 4, consent, District 3, consent, District 4,
Yes, sir.
District 4, consent, District 5,
Yes, sir.
and District 5 consent. You have all 5 commissioners consenting to surplus the property.
Thank you. We also have 2 other additional projects. Both of them are emergency projects, and I am going to defer to the Public Works Director for that information.
So they already know about it. Commissioner, Mr. Mayor, these are items that you we contacted you on last month that we had to purchase. We're just following up to make sure we had the paperwork behind them. So you got emails through this and phone calls. Both situations. One for being wastewater treatment plant on that piece of equipment, and then the lift station at Kettle Creek. And both of those purchases have already been made. We're just following up with the paperwork. All right. Okay, Mr. Mayor, with that, we'll move into the next item, which the Public Works Director will speak on. And it's gonna be the ground penetrating radar. I'll set the tone for him real fast. On this equipment, he'll explain the equipment better than I can, but as you know, many of the city's maps, definitely our water and sewer lines, we definitely don't know what's going on until open the ground up. This piece of equipment is gonna really help us out. This was triggered by a situation which the Public Works Director will talk about when he kind of discusses the points to it. So is it a necessity? No. But is it necessary for future operations? Yes. That's going to be the questions that you're probably going to ask. And with that, I'm going to defer to the Public Works Director to kind of follow through with the rest of the presentation.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mr. Mayor. So, yeah, what we're asking for is to purchase an additional piece of equipment, which is a ground penetrating radar, or GPR for short. And basically what that does is it just helps our locators locate items beneath the ground, whether it, mainly water and sewer, of course, is what we're looking for. And this was kind of moved up to the forefront due to the True Vista project that's coming through the city. Of course, they've been working on it for months now. They still have about 18 months to go before they finish all the streets in the city of Waycross. And they're putting in locates. They're trying to do 10,000 feet a week, which is almost 2 miles, obviously. That's in addition to any other locate that comes in for any other contractor, you know, Brunel Street, our own projects, the projects that they have themselves. We have some maps that show some locations, but they're not 100% accurate and they're not always 100% available at the time. So this piece of equipment helps the locator with the use of the maps. We have one already. We would like to purchase another one, which is the same brand, an updated model. Gives us a little bit more technology to do GIS mapping, you know, 100%, so we can turn the information that they find into maps later on down the road. And it comes with all the accessories, extra batteries, things like that, so that we can have two locates going on at the same time. Because we need one basically to dedicate specifically just to True Vista and that project, and then the other one, or the current one, can do the other tickets that come in for other contractors, like when they're doing Lee Ave, you know, Scruggs is doing that, or Thrift Brothers is doing something, or we're doing our own. That's a separate project in addition to True Vista. So that's why we need to. Well, that's why we're asking to purchase the additional, the new GPR, which is from the same company of the current one that we have. So it's we don't have to learn anything new. It's the same brand, same, just an updated version of that, the one that we currently have. And I don't have the number in front of me. Okay, yeah, with everything included, all the accessories is $27,000, and we're going to use equipment money for that from our sewer water budget.
With that, I'm going to open the floor to the commissioners, so if they have questions or might be able to address some things they posed. I'll start with District 1.
Oh, yes, just a quick question. Would this alleviate like some of the accidents that True Vista had when they hit water lines and?
Yes, sir. That's the goal, is to make sure that we're being as accurate as possible, because every time they hit a line, and some of them they've hit are marked already, and they're still hitting them. But when they do, you know, we send them a bill for any kind of repairs. But the better we can locate, that means less interruption for the customers and less downtime for us to stop what they're doing, go repair something that wasn't planned, and keep on going. So the better we can locate for them and the faster we can, that saves us in the long run.
Thank you.
No question, Mr. Mayor.
I do have one question. Are we getting any kind of reimbursement from them as far as if we use this radar for their project?
No, sir. No.
Okay. It's just we're not having the issues of repairs as
We're
much.
trying to get ahead of it so we don't incur that cost. Well, we're billing them when they hit a mark line. We bill them for all the time and material that's used, but it's downtime for the customers and loss of water and everything else that we're trying to avoid.
Okay.
And we'll have this for years. You know, once True Vista's project is done, we'll still have this new unit for years to come. And who knows, any other big projects that might come to the city.
Okay. That's all. No, sir, Commissioner Simmons stole my question. Give it back next time.
So after the thievery is over, I think that's all my questions. And with that, we will proceed by consent. I'll start with District 1. District 1 consents, District 2.
Yes, sir.
District 2 consents, District 3.
Yes, sir.
District 3 consents, District 4.
Yes, sir.
Consents, District 5.
Yes, sir.
District 5 consents. Consent is to be on tomorrow's agenda to vote for consent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And one thing we did not discuss, and this is just our new thing with leveraging on technology and doing more with less. So Matt kind of mentioned that after this project is done, we'll keep that piece of equipment. The plan is to train one of our current employees, correct? I know that you might have got approached while you were at training about additional personnel through that contract, and we just can't afford that. But what we can do is give opportunity to some of our other employees. It'll be a little bump in pay to perform this duty. Because with the locates, as you all know, every time we do have a leak, the first problem is the locates, especially with Ozzie Davis in certain areas, and that takes 2 or 3 weeks depending on what it is. This is definitely going to help us out with that. And then once we have an additional person that's able to do that, it's going to increase that time. Well, all right.
Watch out now.
Lower that time. Lower that time. Just wanted to reinforce that. Next on the agenda, Mr. Mayor, is going to be the police detective building purchase, and this is not a purchase request at this time. Sometime back, and you got a handout on your desk that was supplied by Ms. Jackson. We have been renting out that building over there for the police detectives. I think some of you have got a tour of it already. If you're not yet took a tour, please coordinate with Chief Cox to get a tour over there. It is a nice updated building. Well, part of it's updated. What we would like to do is go ahead and purchase that building versus pay rent for it like we're doing right now. Because it's a nice area. All of the detectives, they like it. They're on board with it, buying that building. You see the cost of it right there. I won't say the cost right now. I think it's around $800,000. But the owner is willing to work with us once we go into negotiation on an actual purchase price. But I do want to go this direction and go ahead and make a determination over the next 90 days because we do need something more permanent for our detectives. This will alleviate us from that initial plan of using the armory, which we did get congressional funding for, but that congressional funding is only authorized if it's used for a community center. So that's another problem, not a problem, but we definitely want to go that route with the community center. So this is kind of where that parcel is. It's on Ozzie Davis. I think y'all know what it is. There are some other parcels that are on that land site. It's 2 homes. We did have the bright idea to move the homes for another purpose, but that might not happen. So we're going to figure that out with the homes if that's a possibility. The homes are in pretty good shape as well. So we're trying just to figure out what we're going to do. And it's other land there, free space that eventually will become a parking lot for the police department. The other 2 buildings that are on there that I think that we own, we're looking at just putting the gym over there with the police. And then there's a 3rd property on there that's owned by the county on the corner right there that you can visibly see from the street. We're thinking about maybe acquiring that for additional police support. But all I'm asking right now is to go ahead and do those negotiations and start that work. And then once we get further in the process, we'll come back and brief the commissioner where we're at. Yes. Yeah. And again, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner, those who have not went over and looked in that building, you could get over there within the next month. That'll give you a better insight on what we're actually trying to do. You can talk to, I'm pretty sure one of the captains will be there if you can't get with Chief Cox, just to get a kind of walk through what we're actually trying to do. And I'll pause there, Mr. Mayor, for any questions from the commission on that.
I'll open the floor to the commission. We'll start with District 1.
No, sir.
Not at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Not at this time.
No questions at this time. No, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, next we're going to move into the proposed new road ranking system, and it's going to be a presentation given by the vendor After the vendor does his presentation, I'll let you take some questions from him, and then I'm going to follow up after that. Thank you.
Very good.
There he is. There he is.
Hey, AJ, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys. You hear me all right?
We can.
Okay, awesome. Well, great to meet you. Are you good for me to get started?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the time today, all of you guys, and appreciate you, Patrick, looping me in and everything. But just quick intro. My name is AJ. I'm on the business development team here at Civil. So we're based up here in Boston, Massachusetts, but doing a bunch of work, obviously in the Georgia area. It's kind of why we're brought here today. So yeah, I can kind of jump right into things if that's all right, Patrick, or if there's anything you want to preface before I do.
He has on 2 devices. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not sure if I heard you.
It's an echo coming in. We're going to adjust one of the TVs, and then we'll get back started. Gives about 2 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, just let me know when I can get it going.
Try it again, AJ.
You hear me a little better now?
Yes, we can hear you. We were just making certain that
Yes.
you wouldn't reverb. We can hear you.
Okay. I can beam up my screen just to give you guys a quick visual here. Or I guess before I do that, 1 second here.
Why are you doing that?
All right. Can you guys see the screen all right there?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, from a very high level here, essentially what we do is we provide the, communities with the technology to capture their roadways and above ground infrastructure. I know why we're here today is really for kind of a pavement condition index, which essentially rates your roads from a 0 to 100 scale. This is kind of an ASTM standard. And it, again, provides kind of an objective view of the roadways. So from start to finish, right, we provide the technology to capture this with that sensor you see mounted on top of the red car. It incorporates imagery and LiDAR as 2 sources of truth. So I'm sure as you guys have seen on your roads, there are both 2D and 3D defects, whether that be a pothole or kind of some sagging within the roadway. So it captures both of those defects. And then we use kind of obviously the machine learning on the back end to identify those and score them with an area and a severity. We take a lot of pride in the accuracy of this data. We actually partnered with the National Center for Asphalt Technology down in Auburn, Alabama, and kind of have an ongoing partnership to make sure those are up to professional engineering standards. But yeah, all end to end, right? We're capturing information, processing it, and then delivering it to you guys on our platform here. So again, kind of the objective scoring, we typically do these annually. So working with these communities on an annual basis to make sure they're planning off the current condition of their roadways. But yeah, super high level here from kind of the capture standpoint. Any questions on how this works?
I'll look to the commission. Did you have any questions?
I have one other slide. And you guys can still hear me and see me all right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Another big component to this is kind of the planning piece of things. And that's really where this comes to light within our platform and what we're delivering. One other thing I'll mention, we capture a number of other assets beyond pavement, like signage, sidewalks. So kind of help folks with some of the rough ADA transition planning and then also other assets they're managing. So we do kind of good fair bore assessments on those assets as well. But, strictly from the pavement side of things, really where we're stretching folks' budget the furthest is allowing them to manipulate this data. So we're providing this data, giving you suggestions, but it's more so as a tool to work off this data set and make sure, you're able to stretch that budget the furthest and coming in with the most objective approach on kind of the scoring of the roads and actually using this granular LiDAR imagery data to pull out all of that information and kind of plan off of it. So part of what we deliver is really these tools. Another big component to it is kind of the executive summary functions to help you with budgeting, whether that's a 5 to 10 year capital improvement program, and really make sure, if you're spending X amount, that money is stretched the furthest it can go, and kind of create these custom degradation curves to show you where you're at and maybe where you'll be at in 5 or 10 years. And then another quick slide we like to show, and really what we harp on is the degradation curve here, and this is kind of the custom curve we're providing. But yeah, just essentially $1 spent today can help down the road, so you catch that crack before it comes a pothole, essentially. But yeah, pretty high level here. But yeah, no, that is really all I had prepared. I know I wanted to leave some time I know we only have a few minutes here for any more questions or kind of anything about what we provide or the data that folks are working off of for us.
AJ, we're going to go to the commission and ask questions or allow for them to do so. So I'm going to start with our first district, District 1.
You said this hit with potholes? Is that what he said? Check with right before we get the pothole?
Mm-hmm. He did say.
So
I'm sorry, I'm having some trouble hearing you guys.
I'm gonna have to repeat it for you. He hasn't really had a question yet. Hold on just a second. Go ahead.
yes, sir. You said this will help with the roads. You say the crack before we get the pothole. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, sorry, go ahead.
no.
You go ahead, AJ. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, no, essentially, and kind of using this granular information, obviously, a lot of folks are coming from more subjective ratings of the road where, obviously humans and looking at it and kind of not able to fully analyze and quantify those cracks within the roadway. So that's kind of thought being and capturing all this raw information, handing that over to you guys to make sure, you can go find those problems before they become bigger issues, essentially. I'm not sure if that answers that question at all.
Yes, sir.
It's a little tough to hear.
Yeah. And so how much would this cost?
What's the cost?
The cost?
Yes.
Yeah, so we structure it kind of, again, in these annual assessments, but it's about $12,900 for your guys' whole road network, and that's all one cost, from using the technology, processing it, and then the deliverable of the platform that we give you guys at the end of the day.
That's an annual cost, AJ?
That's my question.
Yep, correct.
Thank you, sir.
And then I'd say a lot of folks too start to layer on some of the asset components as well down the line, where you can assess anything within the right of way, so anything from sidewalks, ADA ramps, stripings and markings, trees, to kind of get aligned with that preventative maintenance on that side as well. We're capturing everything in raw data. It's just a matter of what you guys want to pick out to kind of that more overarching asset management tool as well.
Thank you. Great question, Commissioner. District 2?
No, my question was answered.
Okay. And District 3?
Yes, my question would be, does the equipment or the service, will it detect elevation, or would it provide any information so we can determine the runoffs per street?
Could you hear him, AJ?
Yeah, so within the raw LiDAR point cloud scan, we provide like the raw point cloud data, which allows you to go ahead and do measurements of slope. Folks use it for triage of where is there ponding in the road, or is the crown of the road kind of up to standard. But yeah, there's tools within there that allow you to kind of triage with the slope of the road. I heard half that question. I think that should answer that, but
I think so.
correct me.
Correct.
You did. You did.
No other questions, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. And District 4 has a question.
Yes, approximately how long would it take to get the data on the roads as far as using your system from start to finish? You know, what kind of timeline are we looking at?
Yeah, that's a great question. So driving takes for your guys' network would take about 2-3 days, and then we deliver it within about 2-3 weeks. For Atlanta, for example, I know obviously they have a much more significant network. We're working with Atlanta. We did about they have like 1,400 road miles. We drove it and turned it around to them in about 5 weeks, all in. So we're pretty quick in terms of the delivery and turnaround of all this information.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Great question. And District 5.
Yes, sir. This is a constant scan, or is it one-time scan per month, just one time per year? How does that work?
Yeah, so it's typically like one time a year is how folks are doing it. Built into that cost is you can do more than one, but most folks are doing it like once each year. But yeah, the option is really there for you guys.
So it's basically a preventative method, just as opposed to your eyes looking at it. That machine will go deeper than the eyes can see to predict something. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so it's using both the imagery and the LiDAR. So the LiDAR is like a 3-dimensional scan, so it's gonna triage with all the contours within the road. So if you're having like a base failure within the road, it's gonna help triage with that a little bit quicker than maybe the eye would see. But yeah, it's using the both sources of truth between like the image and the LiDAR scan to come up with all these defects in the roads.
Okay. Listen, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
And that'll be all our questions.
AJ, I do have one additional question. Can it detect or predict cave-ins maybe before they're happening? Sinkholes, cave-ins,
so
things like that?
Yes, that's a big one, and kind of where the LiDAR component really goes the furthest. But yeah, once you start to gain more of these data sets, so like obviously you have your first initial scan, and then your following scans the following years, it's going to start to learn your road network a little bit more accurately, and maybe there's higher traffic areas. But yes, that's exactly it. It's going to help triage it in catching some of those defects, whether that be a sinkhole or kind of those depressions within the roadway. Before they become bigger problems, essentially.
Anyone else?
How you doing, sir? This is city manager. So one thing I do want to do, because this kind of like a high-level briefing, I am going to ask Mr. Simmons to coordinate with your team. 'Cause we do need to do it like a face-to-face. I know you came down and spoke to some of the team, but for the commission to really get it, we probably got to do a more in-depth briefing just to make sure they're clearly understanding all of the capabilities with this system. So I'm just going to ask Mr. Simmons to kind of coordinate a date as soon as possible. Can y'all make that happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I'd be more than happy to do kind of a more in-depth and show you what it all looks like at the end of the day.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. We're going to sign off and keep going with our meeting, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate the time.
You're quite welcome. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks, AJ. Talk to you soon. What does it say from current screen? Which one are you on? This one? Yeah.
All right, Ms. Mayor, just a few more points. So some things to consider. So Charlie, they use this system in some other cities already. So our city engineer is familiar with it. He will take part in the briefing as well. That's why we got to do a better face-to-face. So that price is going to be based off of all the features. So he said 12,000, but depending, y'all might want more features, so it can be more expensive, depending on what we ask for. So initially we ask for the regular scan. There's other aspects of that can increase the price, but I think the initial scan will be really much all we need, and that will be that one-time cost, because we will scan the roads then, and then we'll kind of prioritize the new list and then go from there. On that, even though this will have a condition of road, like we'll know road A is worse than road B, some of the other inputs we had in there before was utilization. So although road A might be worse, but road B is getting, 10 times the traffic. Do y'all want to put that as part of the data input? So we kind of building y'all metrics right now to what all should factor. Can't just say this road is worse than that road, because it just depends. It might be a road that's 1 out of 5 is a 5, but nobody uses that road. So should it be that high in ranking? We had this discussion before with the previous commission, but I just want y'all to kind of take that into consideration when y'all do decide what inputs you want to do for the roads as far as the ranking. This is only going to give us like just the roads itself. Like this road is number 1 based off of the scan and potentially, and this road is number 500. But then those other factors, like I say again, utilization, location, all those things y'all need to have consideration. Talked about the price. I think Commissioner Sanders asked about some of the runoffs and stuff. So that's more part of the bid process. When we do decide to get the road done, that'll become more factored in as far as that. But to your point though, we should be bringing in whoever doing the paving work and let them see this as well. That's one thing we have been frustrated with. I think, well, he's gone now. One of the residents brought that up about some Lee Avenue. I say it out loud about sometimes. I'm not calling that the company out, but we only do have 2 companies that do majority of our work. So this particular time, in a quick update, that huge rain that came in was a good thing for us because it did identify a problem that we might not have identified that would have cost us a whole bunch later on once we was outside that contract window. So that was a good thing actually. But this would be something we would need to share with potential bidders or contractors, so their scope can kind of match up the way it should match up. So just wanted to cover that. And like I said, right now I'm working on the other inputs for y'all to consider. And the last big input will be, are we doing, once y'all determine what you want to put in there, are we doing, whatever that list is it number 1, true number 1? Are we doing number 1 in each district and just doing those, if that makes sense? Right now we're doing number 1 regardless of what district it's in. We've always done that first. I know there's been some discussion about just doing a road in each district. That's the commission's choice. They want to do that. But again, that's a cost thing. If we don't hit the true number 1, then it only gets more expensive over time. Just want to put that out to everybody. I know we've been discussing that. And I'll stop there, Mr. Mayor. Any questions on that? Like I said, we're going to try to get this set up as soon as possible because I want to go ahead and get these road rankings going. Scrimmage, I think they're going to start that pretty soon. That's going to take us a little bit of time because it is a longer street. We've done, well, since I've been here, it's been paved. And of course, we're going to put those new other speed coming techniques in place. So we're going to see how that goes too. And then after Scribbins, I want to pause until we get the new list out and then start from there.
I'll open the floor to the districts. We're starting with District 1. District 2.
No comment.
And District 3.
Not at this time.
District 4.
Y'all always know I'm gonna have a comment. I think this new system would be good because to me, I think we'll see roads that maybe are not traveled as much because unfortunately I know you, the Public Works Director, y'all aren't able to hit every road, but I think this will help see roads that maybe aren't traveled as often. And like you said, it may not be a number 1 on the priority list, but when we look at it, it may be in worse shape than we think. So I think that will definitely be a good thing.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you. And District 5.
No, sir, I'm good.
All right. And again, Mr. Mayor, we're going to set this up as soon as we can for a demonstration. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're going to move into the comp plan. And we've been corresponding on the comp plan with the commission for some time now. Mr. Mayor, you sit in a few sessions with us over the comp plan.
Yes,
right now, I'm going to ask to go ahead and adopt it by resolution. As you know, the comp plan is just a map of what we're trying to do. I think some of y'all took some training this past weekend that kind of touched on the comp plan as far as the capital gains projects, some of the water and sewer projects, how that lines up. Also with the funding. If you had a chance to look at that comp plan, like a lot of that funding on there, it's been difficult because it's saying match and it's saying it'll always be there, but as we know now, it's not always there, and then sometimes we're not able to get the match, even though we assess it as being a available funding source. But with that, it's just a guide to stay on track. It's a good guide. Like I said, we had several meetings between ourselves, the Southern Region Commission, with the county, with the school board. So we all kind of made our arguments on certain things and on certain changes. But like I said, I try to circle back to you all on some of the changes. So with that saying, we're just asking to pass a resolution to adopt it. And what we'll probably do this year moving forward that we haven't done in the past, we'll probably do a quarterly update on the comp plan that runs alongside the quarterly finance update. That's our new way of doing things. I'm not sure if we can do it on the same day, but it will be around that same quarter month. And with that, Mr. Mayor, I just need consent.
Okay, this is for consent for the comp plan to be on tomorrow's agenda as a resolution. And we'll ask each district for their consent. We'll start with District 1.
Yes, sir.
District 2,
Yes, sir.
District 3,
Yes, sir.
District 4,
Yes, sir.
and District 5.
Yes, sir.
We have all 5 commissioners consenting for the comp plan to be on tomorrow's agenda as a resolution.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This time, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the final agenda item, which is going to be the GMA Commissioner Training Summary. So I'll try to keep it brief. I will say to the general public, we will put online the actual summaries of all the training that was conducted at that book. Normally I do that, but of course I didn't attend this year's training, but we'll get that out next week so they can look in detail about what happened in the GMA as far as the training. Here are the trainings that the commission attended. For the most part, I know some of y'all had to make some changes when you got down there, so I apologize if it's not updated, but this is what we had initially had. And that's the mayor, Commissioner Roberts, Commissioner Simmons, Commissioner Sanders, Commissioner Tompkins, and Commissioner Nelson. What we did, Mr. Mayor, is just a quick summary of everything for the general public, just a one for all about the training. And of course, I'll ask the public to kind of read this for themselves later on. Or again, next week we should have the complete summary of these courses y'all took. So I'll touch on some of this just briefly. Of course, human resources. We say this a number of times that our biggest capital is our employees, and by that, human resources is kind of, the ones that, when I say overseas our employees, they make sure our employees are taken care of as far as policies, compensation, benefits, legality, and other things of that nature. It's always good to get updated training because these policies change quite often and sometimes without notification. So I think the mayor, you went there, and I want to say, okay, I guess just you, Mr. Mayor, went to the human resources, but again, great training. And Mr. Mayor, once I'm done, if the commission wants to speak on any of the training, I'll turn it over to the commission. Public Works Services, of course, a few of y'all went to the Public Works Services. This is always a great tool as well, because you learn how other cities are doing managing their public works, scale and scope, and then some of you've already sent me some ideas which we're going to try to talk about here in the near future. Entrepreneur friendly cities, again, this is a great course because some of you went down there and met your sister cities and their leadership and what they were doing. I know you got some great ideas, and I guess at some point over the next month we'll sit down and talk about those ideas. Definitely about bringing more business here to the city of Waycross. Although I feel like we got a good business climate, we'll say we got a lot of new businesses here that's opening up over the near future. City clerk done a great job making sure they're in compliance. Some of them are in compliance, but the ones who are not, we'll take care of that as well. But of course, we will always welcome new businesses here to the city. Got some business owners here sitting in the crowd right now, so we welcome them for being here as well. Ethics, that's very important as well. I think you went to the ethics course and and got a better understanding of why it's so important just to be abreast. Ethics violations change as well. Sometimes you get in trouble for stuff you don't know because it's changed somewhere at the legislative level and don't get back down to this level as fast enough. But I'm sure that the individuals who went to that class have shared it with the other commission. Open meetings, this is changing as well right now and in many facets. So I'm anxious to hear from the commissioners that went there to get me abreast of any change that might be happening as far as open meetings. I know the city attorney is working that as well. So we're glad you went to that. Roles and responsibility of the council and staff, this is a big one. So we got new commissioners. Hopefully, you got to talk to other commissioners about their situation with their staff, and you can see that we all share the same concerns, and I'm gonna say problems, but it's not really problems. But it is, everybody wants to do right by the city. Everybody wants to touch the city. So sometimes that council staff line is stepped on or overstepped, but of course it's all in good spirit because everybody wants to take care of the residents. So I'm sure they shared that with you during the course. And of course they talked about the city manager while you were down there. Yes.
Sure did.
And then ethics again, my bad. Commissioner Sanders with the ethics too, and he went to open meetings and practice for successful meetings. I think this is another key one. I think this is more of when you do your town halls and other meetings that you attend. I know I'm gonna use the two business directorates being 3 and 4. I know that's the goal to start doing more face to face with those individuals. That'd be a great, and working with the other associated departments and development authorities that consume y'all districts about doing that. Definitely the public engagement in there, the decision making, and how to get better, and the public confidence. Commissioner Tompkins, ethics, all y'all was in ethics pretty much. All y'all went to the Road Responsibility Council and staff, and then a big one here, the water and wastewater systems. I'm sure you got a good ear for of how that's a problem everywhere right now, and the cost to keep these systems updated and maintained, which I'm going to discuss during the budget update, the last quarter budget update tomorrow, because that is a slight concern that we always have until we can catch up with that. But hopefully, Commissioner Thomas can share some insight of what he learned from that. I know some of y'all have already, I think, posted on your social media about your summaries, your training. We appreciate you for doing that. And then Commissioner Nelson went to the media relations, and this is a big one for us because we don't have like a lot of media here. So unfortunately, because we don't have, we have our great newspaper, and like everybody, they're all facing budget constraints, so they can only post once a month. I mean, not once a month, my bad, sir. once a week. So they only post once a week. But because of that, we sometimes lose the narrative to other means of unverified and untruthful media outlets. One thing, I think they discussed this, Commissioner Nelson, about Facebook being mistaken as a source for news, which is not. And I often see this as well, dealing with some of our residents. So that's something we still got to work on. We try our best to be communicative here at the city through your guidance. One thing I will say with our new website, a lot of enhancements there, and we're going to put more stuff on the website to kind of hopefully get information out, and then hopefully make our residents kind of have the correct information, so they can make spirited debates about certain things. And then trends and urban design for local leaders. I just kind of took this from the book, Commissioner, so I ain't even sure what y'all discussed down there about that. My first time seeing that. And I think this is the last, I got Commissioner, but you can touch on that if you want to, Commissioner. And then Commissioner Simmons, again, the staff. Some of our commissioners have been to some more training than others, so don't necessarily have to go to all the new training, so not trying to, it's a wisdom thing. So, yeah. So, yes, but it's always going down there, and I was glad I heard some of y'all, I got some feedback from some of the city managers y'all did talk to, your counterparts down there, so look forward to hearing that conversation. But Mr. Mayor, I'm going to stop there and turn it back to the commission. They want to touch on anything that they might have learned at the training.
Very good. I'll open up the floor for that, and then we'll start with District 1 if you want to make a comment.
I just thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. And District 2.
I guess, Mr. Mayor, in the class that I was in, it was just a refresher of everybody's responsibilities and roles, and which is a good thing, so that, in other words, we won't step on other people's toes. That's all I have. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And District 3.
Yes, I'd like to point out in the ethics class what stood out to me, and I think a lot of the general public is not aware. Something can be unethical and still be legal. And it's a huge gray area between what's unethical and what's illegal. but we set the tone as a commission, the standards. So far, we've been very uniform with our ideology and our practice. As long as we maintain that, the public will have a better understanding of the standards of our city, that the commission, we lead from the top. We set the, create the ordinance, create the rules, create the governance. Our city manager carries out, along with the staff, to help the public. So understanding ethics and legality and understanding that gray area is very important when you start looking at social media and how people respond to certain stuff. Everybody don't have the same ideology, the same beliefs. So they may say something is unethical and we may disagree. So us establishing standards, having them somewhere written down where they can identify, that kind of squashes the back and forth a lot of times. So I got a lot out of the ethics class. Yeah.
And District 4? Commissioner Sanders mentioned the ethics class. Just so everybody knows, the ethics class was a 6-hour course. The other courses were, I know for me, were 3-hour courses, so I felt like I was back in college. So it's not just a vacation like some people tend to think. There were other courses not listed that many of us attended as well. So it's a great learning opportunity, but to talk to other cities, see that you're all sharing the same issues, it kind of makes you feel better that you're not on a boat out there in the middle of the ocean by yourself, that everybody is kind of experiencing the same thing. So it was really good. So, when you see those classes, you may think, oh, well, that's 3 classes, but that's 12 hours worth of classes. So, I mean, when you're as old as we are, sitting there for 6 hours is a long time. But I appreciated the opportunity. There was a lot to learn. And as a commission, it was good for us to get away from this desk, so to speak, and just see each other as individuals too. So that also helps promote unity from within.
Very good.
That's all.
Thank you. Commissioner, District 5?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I went to several classes, some that are listed and some that were not listed, because a lot of these classes they charge, and a lot of those classes are free. So I take advantage of those other than these. But what I found interesting was the community and media relations. And I wish I could have set a video recorder in the corner to video these cities, these different cities that try to mop up the mess in their city because they don't have a dedicated spokesperson. And they would have to come back and run to legal because this commissioner said that and that commissioner said that, and now the media has taken what he said and running to the media with it. And now the lawyers, they're having to mop it up. So we do great here because we have basically 1, maybe 2 people that speak for all of us. And we are thankful. I mean, I am thankful. One more thing that got us sidetracked was the data center. And that really spurred the conversation on because of everybody in the room having different opinions on it from one city. So that again was an eye-opener for me. And the second one I went to was trends in urban design. The things that we do or they did, and I'm going to use Savannah for example. When it was created years ago, they had a plan on how to attract people when they grew. And they designed their cities to attract more people. And what I took from it was that we need to start creating avenues to where we attract more people. One small thing was those murals. They have those placed all around. And people driving through, they see these things and they're like, oh, wow, this is a nice place to stop and visit. So urban planning is just that, making everything more attractive to the public coming in to possibly get them to move and stay here. The last thing we went to, the mayor and I sat in on the District 11 I guess, the conference or whatever. And this was more enlightening than anything else because they talked about AI. We are way ahead of other cities, way ahead of. I mean, they didn't even realize that they could do what they could do until, I mean, the mayor spoke on it greatly, that what we have here is great business guy and the city manager. He's doing a great job on putting us in the forefront of AI. And they wanted to talk to us after the class was over because we were doing so well. So these things I took away from as being a plus for us, and just to let you guys know that we are sitting pretty well. And that's it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. And I guess I'm always the last one to speak since I am the mayor, and I don't get a chance to do too much voting, but I can talk. But with that, I won't put too much on there because I know our clerk gets worn out with a lot of writing. But I will say, human resources, the one thing that I thought was very good that in that course, and that was one of those 6-hour courses, this particular course is a mandated essential course, and it is to take your practices and turn them into policies. Sometimes we're doing things that we practice over and over again, but we don't have policies that support those kinds of things. So it is now a good thing to go back and look at some of the practices that we have initiated here at the city and make those policies in the handbook. I had also some opportunity to serve as a moderator for a couple of our meetings, and one of them was on the forever chemical PFAS.
Yeah.
And so we had people coming in from all over the state of Georgia, and as I moderated this particular meeting with the senators and the House of Representatives as well as individuals from the GMA, one of the things that we learned there is every city is struggling with lawsuits that are coming after the cities because of things they had no control over. One city specifically, Tryon, the city was going through a process of litigation where they were charged with fees of over $250,000 that did not just go along with the county, but just them by themselves, and it had nothing to do with how it came up. So that was a conversation that the senator spoke to us about. And they were saying something else that I thought was interesting, and that is that senators don't get any training like we get from GMA. So the senator goes in, they only have 40 days to do business. And during that 40-day time to do business, they are not aware of some of the things that's going on in our cities. That's why it's important for us as cities to make the senators and the representatives aware. The second thing that I moderated was a meeting regarding charter changes. And I worked along with our general counsel, Rusi Patel, along with, I think it was House of Representative Osteen from Coffee County, and also the past mayor of Tryon. And the conversation was around how many charter things that are in our charters that cause us struggle later on. You can actually be, again, there's litigation that can go out as a result. We were a highlighted city in this conversation. And of course, our Commissioner Nelson had an opportunity to address a couple of issues regarding that. And one of them happens to be our maps. And so when we do something here in the United States, when we do something in the city of Waycross, we have to make sure those things go up, and then that we go back behind that and reinforce that those things have been taken care of. So those were a couple of things. And lastly, the other two courses that I took, one of which happened to be the public works. One of the things that we have to really deal with in public works is that we have the blessing of, as we talked about, and I mentioned in our class, robotics. In this case, now you're talking about, and we just had a meeting regarding it, and our agenda is filled with the things that this particular course covered. And that will be how we handle public works. And thankfully, we have public works. Stan Brown, who was our teacher from the Carl Vinson Institute of University of Georgia, one of the things he said that was very important, and as he has served as a city manager, public works director, and various other things, public works is a first responder. If there's anything we learned during Hurricane Helene, is that the first people out there were not the fire, not the police, it was public works. And so we should always be grateful for our public works. because of the work they do on a daily basis to keep things done, whether it be a cemetery, a right-of-way, whatever it is that's being dealt with. And sometimes we give them the most, I don't want to use the word hell, but the most trouble than anyone in the world, and they do the most work. And lastly, I think the last part was I dealt with water and sewer, and that was crazy because you're thinking about where all of our infrastructure in the state of Georgia is crazy. It's falling apart, it is cracking and peeling. And if you don't have any struggles on your street, you better be thankful. But most of us have something going on underground before you can do anything above ground, and it costs much more millions than can be anticipated. So while people are, I don't want to use the word B&M, but let's see, but griping and complaining, that might be good. I couldn't find a word right then. But griping and complaining about everything. You might want to thank your lucky stars and your Jesus Christ and anybody else you want to thank for the work that's being done in our communities, in our cities. Waycross, you're doing a phenomenal job, and I want to commend business integrations and that, Lord, with that, ask Wally, as well as being able to see some of the things going on where you can call in and get things, and I can go and take a picture of a bunch of trash, and the next thing I know, somebody's there picking it up. I can call in and say I need water turned off before something does whatever it's going to do, whether you got Syrup Pro to have to come up and clean your carpet in a little bit if you don't have them to turn off the water. So it's a good thing to have people who are responsive and very quick. And I just want to commend all of our commissioners for having gone to this training, and I enjoyed being amongst them. They are comical. At the same time, they have seriousness about the city, and I have laughed more than I thought I could ever laugh. My cheeks were hurting after I had finished this Tompkins, man, I tell you. Anyway, off of that, but thank you so very much for the opportunity, City of Waycross, to send us out for our traveling and training, because we have learned a bit or amount to bring back to our city to help make us a better city to live in. And we really are thankful.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And Mr. Mayor, I'm just gonna, this will be summarized on the when we post the meeting tonight. But again, ultimately, these education opportunities help the city commission remain current on state laws, municipal best practices, emergency challenges, while promoting sound governance, fiscal responsibility, transparency, and a shared commitment to providing high quality service to citizens of Waycross. And we'll add, Ms. Mayor, I'm glad you said that you stated you don't get the opportunity to go meet all your state and federal reps like you do when you come to these meetings. I think our residents, not sure if everybody understands that. That's one of your duties and responsibility and role is to go to them sometimes. But it's great that the commission, they come to the commission at these trainings and you really get the ins out. And I'm also glad you mentioned the part about who actually gets training. And this is why when I say stuff sometimes, I mean to the residents, like, yes, definitely let your state reps and your federal reps know what's going on, because they don't get necessarily the same understanding of how municipalities go like the commission does, when they making their decisions. So appreciate on that. With that, Mr. Mayor, we're gonna have 3 proposed we don't have any privilege license renewals or privilege licenses. We're gonna have 3 proposed ordinances, 3 proposed resolutions. I'm gonna turn it over to the city attorney for her report.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager, to the mayor and the commission. I will do my best to be brief with my report, and I can also provide you all a copy. I also had the opportunity to attend the GMA conference. The classes I were in were the Municipal Courts Post-Ferguson, Part 1, Promoting Justice and Protecting City Assets, which is my favorite part. Public Policy Development and Implementation. There was also a city attorney session and current issues class on municipal law updates for 2026. And again, I'll do my best to be brief with this. So, legislative update in brief. There were 5,480 bills and resolutions that were introduced this past session. 1,608 from the House, 633 from the Senate. Of those, 742 bills were signed into law, and there were 12 vetoes. I I picked out some of the most important ones that kind of relate more so to the city and the issues that I've heard that have come up with us. House Bill 244, which is on local government audits, and it just provided more relaxed standards for audit requirements for cities based on their annual expenditures. Fortunately, the city of Waycross already does our annual government audits. So cities with expenditures of about 2.5 million or more will continue to do their annual audits. Cities with expenditures of less than 2.5 million have a simplified audit framework that they have to go by for the state auditor. And small cities utilizing alternative reporting options still have to complete a full audit every 5 years. So City of Waycross is ahead of the curve by doing our governmental audits every single year. Then we had, which I think would be most important to our code section, is House Bill 483, which is the enhanced penalties and assault on code enforcement. So essentially, it applies that current penalties for simple assault, aggravated assault, battery, and simple battery against utility workers to also include code enforcement officers who are harmed in the course and scope of their employment. So that's providing them extra protections when they have to go out to these properties and try to do work and are sometimes accosted by people that may not necessarily understand why they're there and what they're doing. So that's an added protection for them. We also had House Bill 549, which is the reimbursement for peace officer training expenses. And essentially, this bill extends the time period from 15 months to 36 months in which the state of Georgia or any county or municipality must reimburse the cost of training of a peace officer if you're hired away from another entity. So if we train our officers, we get them ready, we get them through the preliminary training, they're out on the streets, and then let's say some other county next door, like Pierce, said they want to take them away, then they're going to have to reimburse us for what we spent to train those officers.
Good deal.
Which I also think would be a plus. They also discussed House Bill 651 and 1161, which are talking about speed cameras in school zones and toughening some of those requirements to make sure that, one, those cameras are actually functioning during the times where there are school zones and not catching somebody that's going 35 when they're supposed to be going 15 and it's on a Sunday when there's no school. There are complaints and issues with people getting tickets in times where they were not technically school zones. So, and they also require, of course, the flashing yellow lights, signs, displaying vehicle speed, and cameras that are issuing citations. Let's see what else. We'll switch over really quickly for the legislative update for the special session that we had. It ended on Tuesday, June 23rd. There were 5 main topics that were discussed, but the 2 that were most important that did not gain the traction that they had initially, the momentum that they initially had, were the redistricting. Essentially, despite early speculation that lawmakers might redraw Georgia's legislative and congressional districts, House and Senate Republicans leadership announced prior to the start of the session that they would not take up redistricting at this time. Leaders cited a need for additional time to evaluate ongoing litigation, further develop potential maps, and provide an opportunity for public input before considering any changes. And the next most important one was the property tax relief. So following the passage of Senate Bill 33 during the regular session, legislators introduced more than 90 local bills that would have allowed individual cities and counties to place the LHOS referenda before local voters this November. If approved, voters in those jurisdictions would have decided whether to implement a 1% sales tax to help offset homestead property taxes. In this instance, though, because the local measures required a 2/3 majority in both chambers and largely received party line voters, they ultimately failed to secure the necessary support and did not pass before adjournment. And that's about it for the main bills that passed that will probably be most important for our residents to know something about and to also keep the commission informed. That completes my report.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. City Attorney, for your report. Mr. Mayor, one thing that we are changing to as well, as you just mentioned about the business integration directorate. So with our website, we're gonna have all these on our website too. We're gonna start doing information papers. I'm trying to determine where they'll be housed at. Anything with legislative, we're gonna probably be on either on my page or we're gonna create a page for the city attorney. It just be a summary of the House bills and Senate bills for our residents to kind of look at. And we're gonna pull that from the GMA site or the state site, so they don't think we just making our own summary up, or provide a link to those locations. And then there'll be other white papers on there that's talking about something, items specific to Waycross that we want people to know about. And before I do my report, so we did have some lightning strike touchdowns on the ground, so we got some fires right now. But Chief Blackman's team there on it right now, getting those fires put out. Unfortunately, there was some residential properties hit. And we'll know that here in a minute of those locations. Mr. Mayor, to my report, and I just want to, this is my first report for this new fiscal year, being July. So first, we want to just thank everybody for the work with the budget. When I do the final quarter update tomorrow, again, when we were preparing last year's with the previous budget, there was no way to see the rising cost of everything that happened. So I will talk about it tomorrow, because like in reality, the budget is just not a document, it's the services that we do for our residents. But we'll discuss that more tomorrow. But now that 2027 has been adopted, we're definitely going to focus to execution and manage the best we can. I got some new triggers in place to kind of watch some things as far as inflation, mainly overtime and gas utilizations, and some of our bigger contracts. That's making sure they stay in line with our quarter goals and objectives. And again, at the bottom there, just talk about our workforce. This is our greatest asset. And again, we've done a lot for the workforce. Definitely you mentioned public works, but the whole workforce. Like I said, we've lowered the turnaround time frame for employees. They're staying longer. And we got a lot of stuff going for our workforce to help us maintain day-to-day for our residents. But as we move forward, like we've discussed this before, of course, we always will be focusing on infrastructure and utilities, as y'all just mentioned it, of course, but we definitely want to have a bigger commitment towards community improvement, and this is more aesthetics, as Commissioner Nelson kind of mentioned on. We're focusing on that. I'm going to discuss later on. We definitely want to have better partnerships with our neighborhoods. Definitely those volunteers that's doing the work already, just make it more succinct and provide them more resources to help each other out. So working alongside us. And with that, I've talked about the King's Initiative. We're going to have that first meeting tomorrow with those that want to be involved with that. We've already identified the first 2 houses, and you're aware of one house. I think it's off Plant. I mentioned to the commission before about the family living where they live in. We're going to try to assist that family first, and then we're going to let that group of individuals kind of decide how they want to move forward after that. I will be coming to the commission with a possible request about how far the city helps out. Right now, we're just volunteering with our hands and out of our own pockets. But I do want to see if legally, as Commissioner Sanders just mentioned, about what can we do a little bit more when it comes to helping out these programs. So we'll discuss that at a later date. But again, tomorrow is the first meeting on that. It will follow after the regularly scheduled commission meeting. Infrastructure continues to be our priority. Public Works remains focused on drainage improvements, canal maintenance, roadway projects, utility upgrades. While I was disposed, the team did go around and check those low areas of flooding. So they're going to get back with me this week and tell me recommendations. I want to level expectations. I'm not sure we can do a lot for some of those houses because of where they're located at. They shouldn't have been built there, quite frankly. So outside of moving them, I'm not sure what we can do with them. But Charlie has a few ideas that we're going to look at and then kind of go from there. And then something we're going to start right now. We've kind of mentioned this in the past about hurricane prep. So one, I would continue to say, get your generators right now. Don't wait till they $2,000 when they $500 right now. If you go ahead and get them now, and that's a nice size generator too. Get your fuel cans, all those things, because praying for the best, but prepare for the worst. With that too, because we continue to have issues with the amount of dead trees here in our city. Again, legally, the city cannot come on any private property and remove trees, cut down trees, move tree branches, anything like that. What we can do, like I say, is help identify the trees. I have the business director as well as public works director. They're going to get with Georgia Power because they can come on private property and address some of these trees, dead trees, especially if they're in the vicinity of a power line or a transformer or any type of box that could cause a power failure during a storm. So we're going to go ahead and ask the residents that they reach out to the city and to the commission. If you got a tree, a dead tree that is not on the city property, we're looking at it already. And city right of ways and the state right of way, we already doing that on our own. But all those other trees, we asking that the residents reach out to the commission and ourselves and just let us know. Again, that tree needs to be next to a possible power line or some type of power source for it to get looked at by Georgia Power. Once we get those number of trees and locations, I'm gonna turn them over to Georgia Power and ask that they have maintenance on those particular trees. Because as we know, if we get them down now, when the storm does come through, or if it hopefully doesn't come through, but if it does come through, that'll be less impact on our residents. So that's one thing we're gonna try to get ahead of this year. And like I said, we already talked to GDOT about their right of ways. They don't have many, but we discussed with them some of their poles that are leaning, been leaning for quite some time. And although back to, I think Commissioner Sanders said it might be legal, but it don't look right. And it's time that they help us out with that, because those poles have traditionally eventually failed. We've had two over the last 2 years that we've already identified it was leaning for many years prior, and then they finally took it over. So we'll look at that. I want to thank the commission for your continued professionalism, professional development. Definitely all you going. This is the first time that I've been here that the whole commission has went to training.
That's correct.
Which is a great milestone for us. Like you said, unfortunately I wasn't able to go, but y'all collaborated. You talked about things. That's so important to be able to do that. You learn some stuff. Like you said, it's always good to get it from somebody else and to compare other cities to good and bad. So I'm glad y'all was able to do that, and I know y'all gonna come back here and put that back into the city. Moving forward, so we've talked about the animal management program. So I kind of said after we got the budget done, the two big ticket items would be animal management and then code enforcement. So we're going to have that meeting with the public just to get their feedback on the animal management. But as I stated, we've already had some things in effect. The big thing will be registration. It's just not going to work unless we have these animals registered. And then the chipping would be the second part. I know we will get some pushback from that, but I just ask you to talk to your residents about, that's the fastest way to return an animal to its owner, and it keeps them out of the Kendall area. Although we have improved our shelter, if you get a chance, Commissioner, go down and look at it. We've enclosed it now, so it's not like the animals are outside all the time. Makes more improvement. Got a few staff changes we got to do down there, but it's getting a lot better. But again, that is not a forever home for these animals. The goal is to return them to their owners. So again, registration and chipping, that's got to be something the commission got to enforce. I would recommend that y'all, like, once I present that to you, that you really consider that, because we looked at the two cities that's working on that. Again, I hope y'all talk about down at the training. No city is really have a control on that right now, because it's almost impossible. But with the proper registration, we should be able to handle some things. And then as part of that too, the spade, catch, and release. So I'm going to present it to the commission as well as part of the agenda, just so we can level expectations. There's no way for us to take all these cats in down at the shelter, so we would be releasing them. We're going to ask the city for their feedback on how they want to do that. So we got these certain populations, certain areas. We will probably come in and try to grab many, cats as we can, but we will be bringing them back once they get spaded or neutered. And I know that's probably something they don't want to hear, but there's no other way to do it. At least we'll cut down on the growth. And I'm thinking right now, talking with Mark's team, that would be something we do every quarter. And then we'll try to figure out a way to keep funding that over the next few years. So I'm not going to talk too much about the codes. We're putting that together for the commission. I know some of y'all sent some guidance in that you want to see enforced too. I'm looking to bring that on the agenda probably during the August, second week in August. All these different codes that we're looking at. And of course, I just ask the commission again to be aware of what's really enforceable, what really makes sense. The status of our residents, that's a big thing. You heard the judge talk, some issues that need change there. All that be incorporated into some of the code standards that we were trying to change moving forward. And then lastly, I just want to thank all our employees and our community partners and volunteers, like I said, for this last year on behalf of our workforce, especially those individuals that helped us out. And that's done by one person. This is a total team effort. I want to highlight some of that from the fireworks. That's really a two-man organization. The last 3 years. Before that was one man. Before Ms. JD came on, it was just Mr. Simmons. Coordinating that. Now we had some community volunteers and we paid people to help out a little bit, but like doing the work, it's one person with two people, and I want to thank them publicly. I feel like that was the best fireworks we had in a long time. I can't be around fireworks myself, but I did watch the videos. I did get some good feedback. So I want to thank them, and I want to thank the team. Of course, Public Works came in behind them and did all the cleanup. We cleaned up some areas we should have been cleaning up. That's a long story, but they did that too. But I want to thank the team, and they're making Waycross a better place to live, work, and raise a family. And with that, Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna say this too. I know a lot of times. Let me say this: we're gonna try to be better this year. I lowered myself and I allowed the city to lower itself into some stuff we shouldn't have gotten involved with some of our more negative people out there, and. They always allowed us in every room. We're definitely not the majority. And that's on us. So we're going to work harder, to not be pulled into that type of stuff anymore. But at the same time, I will ask those individuals, if you really care about Waycross and if it's something tangible and you want to make things better, I don't know why you can't be respectful with it and bring it to the city and be part of the change. Because you're going to keep on just, throwing stones and insults, then, you're definitely not going to get our ear at this time anymore. But like I said, we're gonna be better this year. Definitely 2 or 3 people within the city that they go at all the time, because those 3 people really make the city go. I just mentioned one of them, so and we're proud of them. And with that, Mr. Mayor, go to the rest of my report. So the zone still remains in effect. We're gonna fine tune this a little bit. We're gonna just to move around a little bit. We found some discrepancies on some of the streets, and we'll talk about that once we make those changes. The dirt roads will still be the same, so we're not going to change that priority because it's all dirt roads regardless. We got to be done with the 23 splash. So as far as getting those done, collaboration projects still remain the same with hybrid beacons, and then some other stuff is programmed. We will start putting out next month. Although everybody knows there's alternate routes for the Oscar Davis overpass construction. That's going to be a monster. Just watching right now, the amount of even after the fair got done, people trying to get back. If a train's there and when construction's there, it's going to be worse. I would just advise anybody right now, if you're coming from the county, definitely use Corridor Z, get into the city. And if you live in the city, you got to go around that particular train tracks. And even Albany, when it starts, leave at least 30 minutes so you can make that whichever way you go to get around the train. Again, our codes still going well. Like I said, we're gonna make some changes to give our code department more teeth. Again, it will be some raises in prices and some other things. We'll discuss that, like I said, in August, June update. I'll touch on this more tomorrow, doing the final quarterly update for the budget. And then staying connected, as everybody mentioned, our AI technology. Ask Wally, is really getting on board. It learns every time a question comes through. It gets better. And like I say, the question goes to a lot of people, well, different people, depending on what question is asked. And then we got our other means of communication with the app and text and all those things that they do a great job with. We're going to start working on the kiosks. We're going to put a kiosk upstairs. It's going to be as far as the business, not business, as far as permits and stuff like that. It's going to be cost free. The big kiosk will be outside, and eventually I want to bring a smaller kiosk in here. To leverage on technology where we can kind of, as people transition, we probably won't be hired behind there. We'll just kind of spread the salary out. But that's coming down the road. And with that, Mr. Mayor, that completes my report. We do have an executive session tonight, litigation, and I think personnel.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Before I entertain a motion for going into executive session, I did want to commend our Commissioner Alvin Nelson for being elected the second vice president for District 11. And we are very appreciative of his representation in the GMA, the Georgia Municipal Association. Along with that, I want to congratulate Mr. Bill Gross for the Hall of Fame he just made and for the work he did in Waycross. It was highlighted in our luncheon and awards luncheon, so I thought that was good. We were commended by Brantley County, our Chief Blackburn and his team for going over and helping with the fires. And wanted to send condolences to the cities of Ringgold and of Augusta. While in our conference, the commissioner or the councilman passed away in his room. And so that was sad, and then we opened our session with a moment of silence on the behalf of our councilman from Ringgold. Also want to give condolences to the code inspector that was killed in Augusta as going on property. Someone killed him because they didn't want him on their property. So I can say we are blessed that we are not going through that process. And I wanted to thank the city of Waycross for promoting and pushing me as I go over to GMA again. I've just got reappointed to my old position as the Environment and Human Natural Resources Chairman for the state of Georgia. So I really appreciate the opportunity to serve both on the GMA board and also in the environment. And with that, I'm going to entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
We have a motion to go into executive session from our Commissioner Simmons. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from our Commissioner Tompkins. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Ayes have it. We are now in executive session. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Commissioner.